Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here at 3TR here bringing you another awesome requested top list video to share with you guys today. Now, this particular video was requested by one of my viewers going by the name of Mr. Roy Mustang, and since I'm sure he really enjoyed seeing my top 5 favorite Devil May Cry weapons video, I guess he figured it'd be nice to tackle another one of my all-time favorite PlayStation exclusive franchises in God of War. So, why don't we stop wasting time and open up Pandora's box here and just go over what are my top 5 favorite God of War weapons, shall we? Oh wow, that's a good one.
Number 5 on my list is probably the second most personally important weapon to Kratos, right below his Blades of Chaos, and that is the Leviathan Axe. Now, this weapon was created by the Huldra brothers and acted as an opposing force to Thor's legendary hammer. It was given to Kratos' wife, and from what we know, it was her primary weapon that she used as a warrior before passing it on to Kratos when she died. Now, when I first saw this weapon, I really wasn't sure if I personally would be able to transition to this being my primary weapon after having used the Blades of Chaos and all its different variations for so long, but I'm glad to say I was wrong. The Leviathan Axe is an awesome weapon, both in use and in design. While swinging this axe around, Kratos somehow feels just, if not more powerful than he ever did in the older games, and visually I can say that this is one of the coolest looking axes I've ever seen, and would own a personal replica of this one day. The amount of customizations both for combat and visuals allows me to add my own personal taste, and this is absolutely a new gameplay aspect that I very much enjoyed. I also really like that this axe's elemental powers, which is ice, serves as a perfect opposite to the Blades of Chaos' elemental power, which is fire. I really hope to see this weapon get improvements upon the future installments that I'm sure we will get, and that is a more than good enough reason to give the Leviathan Axe its spot on my list. Number 4 on my list may not be as personally important to Kratos like the Leviathan Axe, but I believe this weapon has seen a bit more action than the axe, and that is the Claws of Hades. Now, these weapons originally belonged to the god of the underworld Hades, and was used to great effectiveness against the Titans in both of the Great Wars. One of the coolest properties of this weapon is that it literally has the power to rip the souls out of anyone, allowing the wielder to absorb all of the powers and abilities of its victims. It also grants Kratos the ability to summon the dead souls of enemies to aid him in battle, and during his battle with the god of the dead, Hades, Kratos not only showed an amazing resistance against this weapon's power to extract souls, but he was powerful enough to take this weapon and immediately use it against its former owner, and the fact that this weapon bears a strong similarity to the Blades of Chaos makes this weapon a very adaptable weapon for Kratos, which is why I would give it the number 4 spot on my list. For number 3, as much fun as I've had throwing an axe into someone's head or ripping the souls out of my enemies, sometimes I just want to get up close and personal and pound someone into the ground, and there is no better weapon to do that with than with the NEMEAN CESTUses. Now, these are a pair of giant metal gauntlets in the shape of roaring lions' heads with spikes attached to them on the sides, and Kratos received these bad boys during his battle against Hercules, and they were given to Hercules after he slew the NEMEAN lion as part of one of his 12 labors. Visually, these bad boys look absolutely ferocious, as out of any weapon on this list, these gauntlets have always felt like they have the most amount of weight to them when you strike an opponent, and you can literally hear it too. It also comes with a number of extra powers that really help you deal with crowd control in the shape of the NEMEAN Roar, which allows you to strike the ground with such force that it sends your enemies flying into the air. Heck, along with the Blades of Chaos and other weapons, they even made an appearance in Mortal Kombat 9, which I think is just awesome. Number 2 on my list is the Nemesis Whip. Now, this weapon was crafted by Hephaestus shortly before he was killed for attempting to betray Kratos. Just like the Claws of Hades, they are somewhat similar in design to the Blades of Chaos, except in comparison, they are much faster in combat but deliver much less damage, with a heavier focus on delivering more hits to your enemies than dishing out more damage. Visually, they can be considered as a pair of chains, each ending with 3 claws like daggers that give off a green aura of electric shocks with each strike. This weapon was proven to be quite helpful building up combos incredibly fast and having the power to fire an electric shock so powerful that its shocks can conduct from enemy to another. Now, unfortunately, this weapon did not survive the final battle, but they still have had a serious lasting impression on me. but as cool as these weapons are, there's only one weapon that rules above them all, and that is... Number 1 on my list, and my favorite God of War weapon of all time, is obviously gonna have to go to the Blades of Chaos, which should have been obvious to anyone who clicked on this video. Now, on a side note, I will also be adding the Blades of Athena and the Blades of Exile in the same spot, because despite having different names, to their core, they're all identical weapons. Now, these blades are not just the most iconic weapons throughout the entire franchise, but they easily have the reputation of being one of the most powerful weapons ever created in all of video games. Story-wise, they were given to Kratos after he made a deal with the original God of War Ares that he would serve Ares if he saved his life against the barbarians. These weapons have had an extensive amount of history with Kratos, even being the very weapons that he used to mistakenly kill his wife and daughter that caused him to be cursed, which made him the ghost of Sparta for the rest of his life. I was also quite surprised to see these weapons return in God of War 4, as I really wasn't expecting to see these weapons again, which led to a serious geeked out moment for me and many other fans of the franchise. Throughout the entire franchise, these blades have had the longest list of special attacks, and this has taken it to a whole nother level with the ability to customize these weapons in addition to my own personal taste, which is similar to the Leviathan axe. And I really can't wait to see what the team at Santa Monica Studios has planned for these blades moving forward, because I have a feeling that there is much more for us to see, and that is why there is more than enough reasons as for why the Blades of Chaos will always remain my number 1 favorite weapon in all of God of War.
Well, let's put that stuff back before it hurts somebody. And I think that'll do it for my top 5 favorite God of War weapons of all time. But tell me, what are some of your guys' favorite God of War weapons of all time? Share your top 5 list with me and everyone else in the comments down below. And if you have a really great idea that you would think would make for an awesome top list video idea, also share it in the comments down below, and I will be sure to give you a shout out and get it up as soon as I can. So, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and also be sure to press one of the links in the description down below to follow me on Twitter and friend me on Facebook to keep track of me and my future videos. And like always, thank you guys for watching, you're awesome, and I'll see you next time.